Hey guys, what's up? It's Megadan29, and you're watching Captain Algebra. Mega Powers Unite!
Hey everybody, Captain Algebra here. And recently, Megadan did a video on all the NES games that he grew up with and telling little stories about that. And he kind of made an open tag to the rest of the community, and I thought this would be really fun to do. In fact, I'm going to make this a series. So I'm going to go through all the games that I had from childhood all the way through high school. So I think we'll be covering SNES, NES, Sega Genesis, PS1, PS2, Game Boy, N64. I think that's all I could think about at the top of my head. And we're just going to go over all the games I had when I was a kid. Obviously, my collection has grown. Behind me, I've got almost 300 NES games now. Back then, I think we had 20 to 25-ish. And now for the NES, it kind of comes in two parts. We had the games that we grew up with most of our life, but then in high school, my mom worked with somebody who gave her all of their old NES stuff. So it came with two NESs and then a bunch of games. And so I don't remember which was which necessarily. Some of them I do remember, so we'll do my best. Now, I'm not as great of a storyteller as Dan, and since I'm a little bit younger when it comes to the retro game community, these games are all my brother's. So I don't know when we got them. He had some of them before I was even born, and I don't think I ever got any for like Christmas or my birthday. I was more like Super Nintendo, Genesis, Game Boy stuff. And so yeah, won't have any of those stories, but I'll have some stories of how I played them, what I thought of them. So let's get started. First one, classic. We had Contra. You had to have Contra. Absolutely phenomenal game. I did not play this as much as I played Super C, but still a great game. This was one of the games that came from my mom's friend, and that's pro wrestling. So I had a lot of fun with this. I don't think I ever beat it, but I would always choose Starman. I thought Starman was the coolest, and this was just a really good wrestling game. You'll see later on another wrestling game that we had. Actually, it's coming up next, and this was way better than that, so I always played this one. And the wrestling game that everyone seemed to have that was absolutely terrible, WWF WrestleMania. Now, that cover looked awesome, and who wouldn't want to play as Hulk Hogan? But it sucked. It was terrible, so I barely ever played it. Next, one of my favorite games of all time, Jaws. Yes, it's LJN, but LJN has some really good games. This one's really simple, it's short. I used to play it all the time. I don't think I ever beat it as a kid. I just liked going through the water and shooting all the enemies and killing Jaws. And then I don't think I ever even made it to where you try to stab them with your boat. I never even knew about the mini sub growing up. So that was really cool when I found that out. But really fun game. And we had the Three Stooges. So my dad was a huge Three Stooges fan, so I'm assuming that's why we had this game. He never played video games. He was never into video games, but I think he probably saw this. He liked it, and or liked the Three Stooges, so we'd get it. So I always thought it was pretty fun. Again, another game that I never actually quite beat. I never made enough money to save the orphanage, but I always had fun playing all the little mini games, and you know, it's got good humor. Next was another game that came from my mom's friend, and that's TMNT 3: The Manhattan Project. Still think this is the best Turtles game on the NES. I know a lot of people love the arcade game, but this one is much more polished and plays better than that one. Arcade game is great. I even love the first TMNT game, but this was the best one. And we had Super Pitfall. Everyone knows how bad this game is, and so I never played it. Then this is not the exact one I had, but we had Mario, Duck Hunt, and World Class Track Meet all on one cart. I used to play all of them. Loved playing Duck Hunt. I was one of those kids that always went right up to the screen though to kill the ducks. And then World Class Track Meet, we did have a power pad, so I'd play that every once in a while, but not really that often. And we had Strider. I absolutely loved the intro music to this and the music in the first stage, except I never knew what to do after that. And so I'd play the first stage and then I'd stop playing. And I gotta get back to it. Seems like a fun game. And I don't believe we had this, but I believe we had Skate or Die 2. I don't have that anymore. My brother still has it. Another game that came with that, or came from my mom's work friend, but I didn't really play it that much. I think I tried it, but it didn't really seem like my type of game, so I didn't play it. And we have Double Dragon 2. Absolutely love this game. One of my favorite beat 'em ups on the NES. I like it better than the first Double Dragon, but it's a fantastic game. This one we did have since I was a kid for as long as I remember. Shit.
Yes!
Oh, I'm so glad we did another run, guys. Then we had Road Blasters. So this was like Rad Racer, but you could shoot. So I always had fun just throwing this in and playing it for a little while, but pretty solid game. Speaking of Rad Racer, we had Rad Racer 2. So again, just like Road Blasters, except this one, it's basically a checkpoint race, trying to get to the end of the race before time runs out. When you hit checkpoints, you get extra time, I think, if I remember correctly. Another game I never quite finished, but I had fun playing. Then we had Mega Man. To me, still the best Mega Man game, because it's the only one that we had on the NES. I didn't play 2 and 3 until later on in life. I've beaten 2, haven't quite finished 3, and I haven't played the rest of them. And I know, obviously, they updated it, and the other games made improvements, but this one just holds a special place in my heart, because this is the only one we had, and so I love the music, I love the bosses, and you'll never convince me that there's a better Mega Man game than this. I just love this game. Dan's gonna love this one. John Elway's quarterback. Yep, we had it. I never played it. This one was another one that came from my mom's work friend, and that's Infiltrator. So this one kind of had 2 modes. You can start with the flying mode, and then you had to land, and I think I never did that. Or you could just go right to the ground areas. We try to infiltrate a base. I had fun playing that every once in a while. Another one that came from my mom's friend, Castlevania. That's right, we had the first Castlevania game, and I really never played it that much. I don't know why. Now looking back, I really missed out. But good game, I just didn't play it. Then we had Gumshoe, another game that I never played. This, again, we got later in life. Or not later in life, but later, I think I was in high school, and we got all those games from my mom's friend. And at that point, I don't know if we had a CRT anymore. If we did, I just didn't play light gun games anymore. Gauntlet 2, absolutely loved this game. Played it quite a bit with my brother. And going along with Gauntlet 2, we had Gauntlet. I don't remember which one I liked more. I just kind of mix and match and exchange it up a lot, but I like both of the games. Then the game everybody had on the NES, Dragon Warrior, which is where my hate of RPGs started, because I would try this, had no idea what to do, and so I wouldn't play it. And yeah, still haven't ever played it. Another game that came from my mom's work friend, Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers. Really solid platformer game. This one I had a lot of fun playing when we first got it. I was like, wow, this game is awesome, so I loved playing this. It's a really solid game. Then the last loose game that I have before we get to the box ones, and that's Double Dragon. Again, a fantastic Double Dragon beat-em-up game. Again, it sucked that this one was not co-op like Double Dragon 2 was, but it was still a good game, and I had fun playing it. Alright, on to the box games. We had, of course, Super Mario Bros. 3. Still to this day, my all-time favorite 2D Mario game. I say 2D because I don't like to compare the 2D and 3D Mario games, but I absolutely love this. I can go back to this and play it all the time. I think it'd be fun to kind of do a no-death run of this game sometime. But the thing is, though, when I play this game, I play every single level, no skipping anything, no warp whistles. And to do a no-death run of that, it's going to take 3 hours, 3.5 hours. And so it's a long game, but God, I love this game. Frog Suit is amazing. I still love the raccoon getting the leaf and be able to have the raccoon Tanuki. Is it Tanuki suit? I can't remember the name. Maybe I'm getting things confused, but God, it was so good. Such an amazing game. See ya. Ended with 95 lives. Not bad. Amazing game. Then, of course, we also had Super Mario Bros. 2. I always liked this game. And, of course, back then I had no idea that this wasn't the real Mario Bros. 2. But this is really cool. I liked how it was different than the first Mario game. I liked how you could pick up enemies and throw objects at enemies to kill them. And this was really fun. I always liked Peach as a kid, just because she had the floating option. But nowadays, I always play with Toad. And you guys already know this, but my favorite game of all time, Super C. I played this way more than Contra. Contra's a great game, but this is just better in every single way. It's easier than Contra, but it's still, everything else is way better than the first Contra. And I absolutely love it. Play it all the time. No death run all the time. It's a great game. Right here. Boom. Done. And just for funsies, jump up top, teabag it a little bit. There you go. we had Star Wars. So my brother and I are big Star Wars fans, so we had to have this game. And not one that I always ever made it really that far in. I'd always go in the desert, go out to the caves, do the sand crawler, go to Mos Eisley, and then I'd usually stop. But I love the music, I love the game. One of these days I actually got to sit down and beat it. Then we got RBI Baseball. I love this baseball game. To this day, it's still my favorite baseball game on the NES. I know there's like Baseball Stars and there's other good baseball games that I actually really haven't played. So I'm sure I'd probably like them more, but this has a bunch of nostalgia. I remember my brother would always be the American League? National League. American League All-Stars. And so that's what I would always be, and it was so much fun. Just a great game. Then we had Donkey Kong Classics. Gotta love the Donkey Kong arcade games. I probably enjoyed Donkey Kong Jr. a little bit more. I don't know why, I just thought the levels were more fun, but this is great. You know, we got Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr., so it was a great game to have in the collection. And then finally, a game that I love that everyone hates, Back to the Future. That's right, you guys know I love this game, and so when I became part of YouTube, I started watching YouTube, I had no idea that everyone hated this game so much, and I have no idea why. It is a good game. Sure, I could see how the music would get annoying sometimes since it's just, it loops. But this follows the movie almost exactly. I mean, there's only so much you can do with a movie licensed game like Back to the Future, and they did a really nice job. So I never made it past the ice cream shop, but I always had a blast when I played this game.
Yes! Got it. That's what's up. Boom, no death run. Woo!
So there you go. Those are all the NES games that I grew up with. I think we might have had Shadow of the Ninja 2. I can't remember. I'd have to ask my brother because I know he still has some of the games we had as kids. I'm pretty sure if we had any other ones, that's the only one. I feel like I've seen it before, but I'd have to check with him. So pretty good selection. Again, I'd say half of these, maybe more than half, we got from my mom's friend. So those ones I remember a little bit more, just because we got them when I was in high school versus when I was like 4, 3, 5 years old. So had a lot of fun on the NES, but like I said, I plan on going through all my games from childhood through high school. So next we will probably go with Game Boy, and we'll have this out pretty soon. But I would love to hear a response from anyone in the retro community, open tag to anybody. I think it's really cool to see what games we grew up with. It's just really interesting. So thanks for watching, everybody. Till next time, this is Captain Algebra, signing off.